Hey you! You're watching a clip from the DynamiteGizmo podcast. This is not the full episode, but if you want to see the full episode, make sure to click the link in the description. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. Do it now! Here's the clip. Alright? Now, eventually, this is what I'm thinking. Eventually, hopefully soon, we'll get to see Joaquin Buckley against Ian Gary. There's a lot of shit brewing between these two cats. Okay? Buck versus Cuck, as Joaquin so effortlessly and geniusly puts it. Buck versus Cuck. Buckley actually stated that he wanted Gary to win. All right? Even though there's tension between these two motherfuckers, Buckley actually stated that he wants Gary to win so that he can have an opportunity to fight him. Okay? We have a clip of it. Actually, it's not a clip. It's a tweet or a comment on a Instagram post. He wrote, just don't get knocked out, Ian, because Buck versus Cuck for the belt gun feed nations. That was the first iteration of Buck versus Cuck. And honestly, it's brilliant, dude. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. Oh, we got another. He also said this, too. I don't know why, but for some reason, at the Gary versus Prates, I don't know if it was the media day or the pre-fight press conference or what the fuck, but Joaquin got to go up there and go on the mic. But he had this to say.
Right. So the reason why he don't understand me is because I don't speak Cuckanese. You understand? So I can understand why he didn't understand me the first time. Right. So because Ian Gary was talking about Joaquin Buckley, and he was saying, Joaquin Buckley don't even speak English. I can't understand that man. All right? So then Buckley claps back at him and says, I don't speak Cuckanese, brother. That's why you can't understand me, because I don't speak Cuck. So we're getting lots of cucks thrown around. And I mean, everyone's always been throwing cucks at Ian. This is nothing new. But the fact that it's Buckley and we got the Buck versus Cuck, that's nice, dude. So yeah, there's clearly tension between the two, and they're honestly building it quite well, more so in the favor of Buck's behalf, Buckley's behalf. It just seems like no matter when they have an opportunity to confront each other or to potentially come up with a match between the two, it's as if Ian doesn't want to, or he avoids them. A few years ago, they actually had an interaction together at the UFC PI. They were in the same room, damn near face to face, talking about each other. And at this time, Ian Gary was ranked number 14 in the welterweight division, and Buckley wasn't even ranked yet. And I've got the clip here, so let's watch it. Let me turn up the volume a bit.
You're not ranked. Okay. You were offered to fight a ranked guy. Okay. You did. You said no.
Okay, that's
right. Then you said, "Why don't you fight me?" You're in this now, right?
I gotta get a move.
I'm fighting 8 in the world. Why would I look down when I'm going this way?
Yeah.
You should be calling me out.
Yeah.
Because I'm up there.
Yeah. Right.
That's the right thing.
That's the right thing.
But why would I go backwards when I'm trying to be the best in the world?
Because I got a
that
name.
Does not. I don't give a fuck if you got a name.
Damn.
If your ranking's not higher than mine, nothing to do.
You want that too.
You're not ranked.
Okay.
All right. So it's just, we're seeing a lot of this. Now that was 2023, I believe. At this time, Ian wanted nothing to do with Buckley because in his mind he would be fighting downward, which he said in the video. And it's like, okay, yes, that makes sense. But this past weekend, he just fought Carlos Prates. Ian Gary just fought Carlos Prates, who was very much below him. Ian was 8, if I'm remember, or somewhere around 8 this past weekend. And Prates was what, like 12 or 13 or something? So he did exactly what he said he wouldn't do against Buckley, but he did it to Carlos. But even even after winning against Carlos, it now did push him up one spot higher in the rankings. If you took a look at the rankings, Ian Gary is now ranked 6, and guess what? Buckley is ranked 7. And going into this, Buckley was actually ahead one spot of Ian Gary before this past weekend. So as it sits right now, they are neck and neck. So if there ever was an opportunity for a solid matchup, this would be the time and this would be the matchup to do. Gary's ranked 6, Buckley's ranked 7. At the time of that video we watched, Ian Gary was ranked 14. Buckley wasn't even ranked yet. Now look at where they are. They are neck and neck. And if Buckley wins against Usman, like I said, that'll push him right up to number 4, way ahead of Ian Gary. And then what the hell is Ian Gary going to say? All right? Now, I love Ian Gary, and I'm not trying to shit on him, but I'm just stating what's going on here. Buckley, so here's what I'm if Buckley wins against Usman, put Gary up against Buckley, the winner of that fight is next in line for the title, whoever it is at that point. Okay? Because let's say JDM wins against Bilal. We don't know, but there's a chance Islam's going to go up to fight JDM. And that's the match that will happen before anything. So that means Ian Gary and Buckley aren't going to have their chance at the title. So they should fight each other. In the meantime, okay, then Islam and JDM would fight. Whoever wins that, then you put either Ian Gary or Buckley up against. That is the perfect way to do this. Oh, yeah. So, during the weigh-ins from this past weekend, again, Joaquin Buckley showed up. You know, we saw him at the media day, but he wanted to confront Ian Gary. So he showed up at the weigh-ins, and he was right there. Because he wants this fight to happen as well, as does everyone else. But Ian Gary keeps avoiding. But while Joaquin was at the weigh-ins to face Ian Gary and talk to him, this is what transpired. And he did a little voiceover, which is nice too.
What up, y'all? Y'all know I had to pull up on Ian Gary at the weigh-ins for talking all that mess in this little interview. So I'll wait till he get done. I'm waiting patient. As soon as I pull up, boom, she bumped right into me. She gonna use the baby as a shield, pass him off to him. So I'm like, all right, I'll let you have that one. But as soon as I'm about to turn around, she comes over to me, caress my arm, and say, I'm gonna see you later on tonight. Girl, what the fuck that mean? I'm trying to see him, not you. What up?
So yeah, right as the second Joaquin stands up, or I guess he was standing up, but the second he tries to move forward to talk some shit or whatever he was going to do to Ian Gary, Ian's wife stands up, and you can see she kind of pushes him out of the way with the baby in her arms to prevent Joaquin from confronting Ian Gary. And the security guards were kind of blocking the path too. But like I said earlier, there's this whole kind of background story, this background narrative about Ian Gary and his wife and the book that she wrote and where the Cuck rumors came from. There's a whole splatter of information, a whole road you can go down about Ian Gary and his wife and why he would be considered that way. But it's way too deep to dive into right now. But the fact that Ian Gary's wife caressed Buckley's arm and said, I'll see you later, that is what allowed Buckley to start addressing this whole Buck versus Cuck claims. He could have started, addressing it as the Buck versus Cuck matchup before she even caressed his arm and said, I'll see you later. But the fact that she did that just completely allows him to go ahead with that narrative. And again, like, what does she even mean? I'll see you later? What does that mean? Who knows? And I'm not going to speculate on anything. And when the MMA Guru was actually reviewing this exact same clip as well, he did claim that Ian Gary licked his lips right as Ian's wife grabbed Buckley's arm. And you can kind of see it in the video, but just barely. So, and I'm not saying that's anything, but it's just a funny little point to throw in there. So you would think at this point, with Buckley putting this much effort in to get at Ian Gary, that Ian would at least consider Buckley, now that he's getting under his skin, now that they're neck and neck. You would think that he would at least consider Buckley, all right? If Buckley's pissing you off at this point, if you don't like the shit that he's saying, if you don't like that he tried to get in your face at the weigh-ins, then why the fuck don't you want to fight him? You would think that he would want to at this point, but even at the post-fight press conference, as soon as Joaquin Buckley was brought up to Ian Gary, Ian had this to say.
Was in here earlier, Joaquin Buckley. There's some back and forth.
That man is an absolute pussy. I don't care for anything he has to say. Leave him to be him, and let's move on.
Was in.
So that was it. He didn't go any further. He didn't dive any deeper into Joaquin Buckley. As soon as Joaquin was brought up, he shut it down immediately and just called him a pussy. He's not even considering Joaquin Buckley. Okay, and later on in that interview, Buckley does get brought up one more time, and he said something, the media person said something like, "What did you think when Buckley showed up at the weigh-ins?" And Ian Gary pretends like he didn't even see him. He pretends like I didn't even see him at the weigh-ins, which he clearly did. He was talking to him. He was pointing at him. So I don't know. It just kind of seems like he's just straight up avoiding Joaquin Buckley altogether. But we all know at this point he really has no choice. The only way Ian is not fighting Buckley is if A, he needs to be used as the backup fighter at UFC 315, or B, if Buckley loses to Usman, then Ian Gary doesn't have to consider Joaquin Buckley. But if he's not used at UFC 315, which he probably isn't, and if Buckley does win against Usman, which is very potentially likely, he has to fight Buckley. Or Buckley can simply sweep right on past Ian Gary, and now Ian Gary's like the underdog no one gives a shit about. But if Buckley wants, he can push Ian Gary to the side and just fucking move right past him and go for the title himself. All right? And then eventually, that means Ian Gary would have to go against Buckley if, for whatever reason, Buckley did get the belt. So I think the clock is running out. We're just going to get to a point where no matter what, Ian Gary is going to have to fight Joaquin Buckley, whether he likes it or not.
Tap here to watch the full episode of the Dynamite Gizmo podcast.